Hi Scorpio, this is going to be a reading for Sun in Scorpio and Rising in Scorpio. Okay, so I've been riding off of this angry energy, which is, it's beyond disappointment. It's that heavy feeling of being misunderstood wherever you go. And there's a sense of self-righteousness behind this energy. There's a sense of not giving a fuck, honestly. Yeah, you're so focused on yourself, Scorpio, that no matter how these people fluctuate through your life, nobody can sway you, and your opinion is not, it's ego transcended. It's having that perfect sense of self and knowing who you are. This is also a reading for if you're tuning this, if you're tuning into this and if you resonate with the energy, it could just be an 8th house transit, which is the Scorpio house. But this is a general astrological reading for Scorpios and Scorpio risings, just so the energy doesn't, you know, move through the signs, but pretty much each is very special on its own. So just like these series Scorpio, you have tuned into this energy because your self-righteousness and your self-work, the things that you do for your high elevation, higher learning, higher understanding, is, it has been undermined in the past and it has been underestimated, but not anymore. So I've picked a deck that is a bit more complicated because I know that Scorpios will get this. My North Node is in Scorpio, but I'm not making this about myself at all. I'm just saying that I do resonate with Scorpio being my life, you know. So the intensity of any witch cycle, there's no bigger intensity than that of a Scorpio, because, you know, Scorpio is represented by 2 planets. It's represented by Mars and by Pluto, and that's a lot of, so Mars is that general masculine energy of the god of war, being a very assertive person. You know who you are, right? Even if you're a female watching this, you are very well aware of who the fuck you are. However, people have underestimated you in many ways, in many different ways, Scorpio. But the Pluto part of Scorpio ruling planets is, well, we could debate on Pluto, but I am a millennial, so Pluto is a planet. Hashtag Pluto is a planet. And you could be, you know, 30 and above of age. Even if you aren't, you could be resonating with being, you know, wanting to be growing up in a time where technology was yet to be introduced. So however this resonates with you, Scorpio, it really doesn't matter where you are. It's about the soul's intensity and the power of the essence that you carry, Scorpio. So I just wanted to shuffle these on camera, 444 on the timer. I hate shouting out these numbers, but it's interesting because I kind of have to, because I look at the timer only when it's necessary. And it would be weird, because I mean, it will be weird at some point where collective we get so far that I just do one of the, you know, camera stares, and you're gonna look at the timer of the video and be like, ah, that's the angel number for me. So Scorpio, your pickup on cues is very precise. It's very, nothing can get past you. You see everything. And I mean everything. You see behind everybody's intention. You see behind what's right for everyone around you. Okay, so enough about Scorpio. Let's start with the timeline of where Scorpios are tuning into whenever you're watching this reading. It's a timeless message. We have the Hierophant, and we have the Five of Wands, which is earth and fire. I was hearing earth, wind, and fire. Well, do you remember the 21st night of the September? And we have the Five of Pentacles on the bottom. So you have been fighting with snakes, Scorpio. And these snakes are casting venom at each other. So you have been... It's... Okay, so there's different timelines, of course, for different people tuning into this message. But I'm seeing work gossip. I'm seeing people casting venomous words when it comes to other people's looks and work and superficial things. However, Scorpio, you are preserving your venom. You are like, this is a dire situation and I mustn't show my weakness. And you never do, Scorpio. Of course, your exoskeleton is that of, you know, being made to survive all types of deserts. You have been through a lot. You have been through a lot of probably abandonment in general, right? And a lot of internal conflict as to why people have bad things to say about you at all. And it has made you this self-righteous hero, actually. It has made you this superwoman, this superman, Wonder Woman, Catwoman, you know, whatever type of woman you want to be, or whatever type of Superman, action man, whatever type of man you want to be. You are all that, Scorpio. And it's time that you realize that just because you are all that, that is the sole reason why people love to exchange venom and be just fucking cunts, honestly. But these spells, right? Words are spells, blah, blah, you know, the drift. These castings of venomous snakes, you know, I'm hearing you can't compete where you don't compare, right? So you know that you have no competition, Scorpio. Whatever you have mastered, and that's that. And you have also mastered your self-isolation. You have been to your Plutos, right? Your Pluto moments of just being so far away on this gas dwarf of a planet that people don't even consider it being a planet. So you could have had problems with the fact that you felt like you weren't even considered human to a lot of people that were supposed to love you in your life. But now, you have nothing stuck behind your teeth. You have no, nothing, we have a saying in my country, it's like no hair on your tongue, right? So you shaved your tongue down to it being a razor, pretty much, not just, you know, the your intellect and the way you are able to communicate, and the way the people around you that you have bad quote unquote interactions with are just not understanding your level of wit, your level of intelligence. And I'm just smiling because this is just you are so sorry. I need to pause. No, some people might think you're crazy for the things that you do and the things that you say. But if a linguist would have analyzed you, or a stand-up comic would have analyzed you, they would think, like, wish I was that smart to come up with these ways of these coping mechanisms. Because Scorpio, you have come back to being Mars. You are back to being your own daddy, you know, your own father, your own ruler of your life and your path. And the Hierophant comes out because the Hierophant, well, it's the Taurus card. However, you could be resonating if you have a sun or a rising in Taurus and the other one is in Scorpio, or you could have other signs in Taurus that are important, or you could have a Taurus house that is full of I don't know, you know, a Taurus planet could be in your Scorpio or Scorpio house or something along those lines. However, however, this confirms for you, Scorpio, I'm being pointed to the staff and to the lamb. So the staff has kind of two twigs twisted together, right? I don't know if you can see well. And then there's a lamb. That's right here. So we have a staff and a lamb. And the staff being represented by fire, right? And then we have the 5 of Wands, which is 5 of staves, right? And you have twisted the snake's tongues. Those who know. Get on my level, bitch. So, yeah, collective. You have taken the tongues of these snakes and the wands. So, if it's your coworkers, if it's your egotistical friends, or, you know, people that are excluding you in general from you living your life pretty much, or doing your work, whatever it is, you have taken these wands that they have been throwing at you, because each of these persons has their own wand and they're casting their own spells with their tongues. And, you know, every tongue is poisonous, pretty much. Very rarely do we meet people that only speak good and only speak highly of the things around them and the people that are around them. We always have something to complain about, right? And you, Scorpio, have transcended the complaining part and you have come to the self-assured part. You have taken out at least 2 very important players in your life. You have twisted them together and looked at it, how they are affecting your home, work, life balance, you know, however you prefer to live it, and whatever your contracts are, because the Hierophant is also about those spiritual contracts where you, Scorpio, and you know, this intense energy is only present where the strongest are have signed the contract to conquer, right? So 14 on the timer. However your life has been structured, you always kept coming from your heart, and you're a very loving person, and I'm hearing you love animals as well, and you're the star. You were born to shine. You were born to be in competition. It's like you were born to be the scapegoat. You were born to be the odd one out, the one that people are jealous. How does she keep getting more and more stylish? Like, how does he keep getting more and more, like, magnetic? you know, because it's your passion, Scorpio, is your intensity and the way you cast your venom. You don't get on the levels of snakes anymore, Scorpio. You're willing to go up against somebody that has venom to spit, but more in like a debate way, or, you know, um, it's like challenging your own comfort zone just because your comfort zone is way over at the Pluto, meaning your jokes have such an expansion rate, or your wit has such potential and magnitude of intellect and seeing through everything, that when you find that opponent that is willing to debate or communicate in general or exchange certain energies that you like exchanging, you're like highly committed to solving a bunch of these problems. And I'm just here to confirm and affirm for you that even though you have been around these snakes, these aren't venomous snakes, these are just jealous bitches and egotistical guys, because not one of them has ever thought about you, Scorpio, but you have always considered helping them, or you help them, or, you know, you're the hold the door type of guy. You're the, you know, say hello to everybody in the morning when you come type of girl, right? And you have been, it has been nerve-wracking, but with you putting these things together, and it's like I'm literally seeing like you taking the gossip, right? So the gossip, let's say it's the snake's tongue, you like twisting the snakes of the tongue together, 1717. You are clearing your throat to say what you have to say, okay, Scorpio? And you are leaving a big part of your life behind that has been your, something that you tended to, something that is your creative outlet as well. You could be thinking of opening up your own shop, or just having that aspiration of doing what you do diligently around the people that aren't poisonous, you know, but in a way where the snake doesn't even open its mouth unless it's to yawn. Like, yeah, I can see you are snakes, but I'm not willing to stoop to your level or help you anymore, because Scorpio, you're in this self-righteous energy where you have mastered the craft. As we said in the beginning, you have tact, you have strategy as well, but it's more, I'm seeing like tactile, like you're laying low, you are climbing through sewers. It's like your whole life is this huge muck that you're trying to escape, but it's the poison of the unpoisonous snake. So it's like these people can't hurt you at all. Okay, let's take these three and this one and this one. Okay, 3, 2, 1 they said. So this one and this one on the bottom. You're being decisive and you're trusting your intuition, because you are a highly intuitive, sensing on the water, gone through the desert type of zodiac sign, right? Whatever you have been through, you're moving forward. The Chariot. The first thing I see is your confidence has been polished into a pearl. So this person's solar plexus is a big shiny, big shiny pearl looking object, and it's coming out of something that reminds me of those ancient Egyptian plants like papyrus and similar fan-like looking plants. So you could be resonating with this, that you are from, or you would like to go live somewhere where there is a lot more tropical plants, or just a different type of nature that you have been growing up around. Like, I'm seeing you want to make it this move. You want to get out of your comfort zone or start living the way you want to live. This charioteer has a sword that is quite rusty, and so is he, but that's his armor. So I'm getting like, for a part of the collective, your sword, quote unquote, so your thought process, your mental clarity, your ways of thinking about yourself and others is quite rusty, and it's connected to the solar plexus, not solar, sacral chakra. Could be solar plexus. And I got a weird pain. Yeah, keep sending those, huh? Will definitely do you good. That's speaking to you, Scorpio. Those who know, know. Yeah, there are arrows. The Chariot is usually a card of Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, the card of movement while being still. So I'm seeing now one of my personal cards where it says like, I am stillness moving and I am movement stilled, which is a depiction of what you had to go through. You went through your personal ups and downs for this precise reason, where it's you figuring out your true north. Or you could be exploring your North Node sign as well, or you could now have gotten interested in what that could be. But the things that you're speaking about or need to speak about are directly connected to the sacral chakra and all the topics surrounding it. We have the Hanged Man, the Starman, which is the Magician, and the Lovers. My lordy, Jody, Jord. Somebody here could be named Jordy. So these are three major arcanas. Somebody could be from Jordan. Right? But these are funky cards. So let's start with the Hangman. In general, major arcana is major life shifts, major events. 2, 3, 3, 2 on the timer. Major changes as well, right? 2, 3, 3, 2 is 5, 5. And that's a 10 together. And you are closing out this cycle of not stooping to anyone's level, Scorpio. You are your own star of the show, because what I saw, well, I usually look at these cards every time differently, and every time I'm pointed to different symbols, because there are so many on these cards, and I was pointed to this golden orangey star, which is probably hard to see, but it's reachable for you, but only in the dimension where you are willing to truly leave behind that past where you couldn't express certain things. And it's probably really hard, because Scorpio energy is that of, it could be sometimes possessive, as to not willing to let go, or not being able to easily just let go, like an Aquarius, right? So for the things that are important to you, Scorpio, you're making way for yourself in this next season. And you are also on the parameter of heart healing, I'm sensing, because I'm getting this anxious or smoked up lung feeling where you've just been maybe, you know, not partying, but it's consuming your energy, your money, your time for the wrong things instead of, you know, focusing on who was manipulative around you your whole life and how certain things keep happening to you. And now you're kind of, this is a lower timeline Scorpio energy, so I'm sorry for those that are a bit higher in energy if this is bringing you down, but some do need to hear, because yeah, I was like, oh, how can I get out of this? So you see this hangman has a, what looks like copper weight or something, or it's just very rusty iron. Yeah, it's a rusty iron weight. So again, with the old rusty ways are not particularly helping you anymore. So we have the 12, the 6, and the 1. Okay, so you have leveled up your awareness. In the past 6 months, you have done a lot of things for yourself to recalibrate with certain parts of yourself and talking it through out with people, and you've been there's a lot of pain in my chest, so I don't know what this exactly is. Okay, I'm being pointed to some gunshots in the back of the Lover's card, which I never noticed. I swear to God, I never noticed. In this card. And you, Scorpio, you are such an intense person that you're like, if you could imagine like bright white light, right? Now imagine a bright black light. So it's like, you know, it's how people perceive you is way different than the effect that you have on people. Like people could see you as that black hole sun energy, or, you know, too intense and too difficult, and, you know, it weighs on your heart because you're really not. You're not the one that's making things difficult. You're just holding on to the hat that sadly has a rusty weight attached to it. So as soon as this hangman lets go of the hat, he is liberated. And sometimes we need to switch hats, right? What's that English saying, American saying, wearing different hats? So you could be capable of infiltrating many different timelines and energies. Like you can be completely professional and also be completely wild and rowdy and being the life of the party. But you are being reminded, no matter your gender, that there's certain things that need to flow differently when it comes to, you know, being stuck in the old ways of doing and thinking and being cannot open you up to love. It can open you up to processing trauma. It can open you up to processing your past. But you've done enough. It's just time to invest in your own creations. I'm looking at the Starman, which is the depiction of David Bowie, and he is bearing a child. So even if it seems impossible, or like a plot of a movie, that something great can happen to you, you know, it's like I'm hearing get rich or die trying. Hello. But it's you know, if you're going after the things that you want and they're solely coming out of you without you thinking about what others are going to say at all, ever, if you're willing to let go of the hat that weighs down on you, there's a lot of gold. Like there's this play, it looks like gold bars with play buttons on them. So it's time for you, Scorpio, to enter the game. And I'm not thinking those games where you play around in relationships and, you know, going from any person to any other person, or it's like, doesn't matter where, because it's really painful in my chest. Don't want to be vulgar and, you know, touch myself to relieve the pain or massage it out. I'll do that after. I'll just power through, right? But I can barely breathe. It's that heavy of an energy. It's weighing down on, it's like I physically feel all of your heartbreaks from all of the people, but kind of like if you know, turn down the volume. So both of your sides were affected, your masculinity and your femininity. That's why the Lovers come, because it's about merging those two together. You know, it's not about merging yourself with another soul, or when is my soulmate coming and where's my husband, because that's not how it works, baby girl, baby boy. You are the Starman and you are the Hangman. I mean, it's like this. You could either be the Hangman, holding on to this weight, rusty, stupid hat. Why does this hat even have a hook to put a weight on it? That's the real question, Scorpio. Why does one of your faces take all this bullshit, Scorpio, if you're not the one to fuck around with? And it's your decision to step into your manifesting power, your magnetism, the way that you attract things solely from your own moon cycles and your own biochemistry and neurochemistry. And, you know, it's like, you know, sorry guys, there's this small percentage of the collective that knows everything but doesn't do shit about it. So I extend my heartwarming prayers to you that you heal that part of yourself where you think that you're gonna get anywhere without developing your own personal ideas. 3344 was on the timer, and somebody needed to hear that, even though their 3D self couldn't hear that. Their 5D self was agreeing with, yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Seeing behind the Magician, I'm being pointed to the, is it Kabbalah Tree of Life composition? It's really hard to see. So, the key is inside of you, and it always has been. You're connecting to the Archangel Metatron, or he wants to connect with you. Also, Archangel Raphael is here. You are a little hummingbird, Scorpio. You are this cute little hummingbird that should be protected at all costs, just like Cancer. You know, let's say it like this. Water signs keep getting shit from tarot readers in general because it's the energy that is constantly being recharged with negativity, right? Because water is so easy to calibrate. You just speak to it and its whole mood changes, right? And sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Scorpio, or the watcher, whoever's watching. I'm not laughing at you. It's just the fact that, you know, Pisces are always seen as elusive creatures and Scorpios as, you know, unattainable, mysterious creatures that will ghost you forever. And Cancers are just whiny babies that, you know, are protective of everybody, but not protective of themselves. And there's this sense of being constantly misconstrued, misconceptualized, misunderstood, because you just haven't been around the people where you could share your intensity without being judged. And if you did, they probably now live far away from you, or it's hard to find time to be around certain people, or it was hard for you to find time because you were isolating for any reason, be it a relationship, be it a personal crisis, be it a grieving stage, you know, whatever you have been processing. I love how cards come out in a manner where one confirms the other, because the Justice and the Two of Wands, it's both your energy, right? It's this Libra energy as well as kind of like Aries or Sag energy. But again, there's a snake at the feet, but it's a golden snake. So you have tamed certain situations, or you're now stepping into the era of your life where you understand that you need to harden your exoskeleton, Scorpio, to a point where your auric field 37 is, your auric field is well secured. And this person is, I don't know why, but you know, I don't read these little booklets and stuff. I just go with the pictures and the knowledge. But this person looks like they're holding rockets. They're holding wands, but they're holding rockets. And then they're wearing a, what looks like a hijab. Hijab? I don't know how it's correctly pronounced. And then there's ether observing, and there's this disc. So I'm getting, you are an alien. You could be connecting to Arcturian lineage. Pleiades, I'm hearing. But in general, you are governed by the Creator. And Justice coming out with a depiction of alignment, right? With the spine being very spiritual, and the heart in hand, and the brain in the other, shows me that you have been observing your whole life, right? You're like, which sarcastic comment, which joke, or just what kind of sting should I deliver? Whereas now, as much as this isn't now being energetically represented as hijab, it's showing me just the part of the mouth being covered, so you could be holding back, and that's how the snake is tamed at the feet of this person. Because you're not giving reason. Doesn't mean that you don't have things to share or things to say, but you are deciding to not let these energies enter your energetic field in a way where they could affect you. You're not investing your heart in these situations because that also affects you. And Two of Wands is a card of choosing which way to go, a path, right? It's a crossroad or a stopping point, a pausing point where you look at your options. You have wand number 1 and you have wand number 2. You have the heart wants what the heart wants, and the mind is telling you, you don't need that, baby girl. You don't need that, boy. You know? And it's your choice. At the end of the day, it's your choice. How you're going to take it. Are you going to ever start taming your reactions, or are you going to make it a whole character? You know, choice is yours. Who you want to be and how you want to react is a direct energetic transfer, because we kind of let people offend us, right? Because we react instead of stop at the crossroad and look at all of our options. So this energy is kind of transmuted, where in the past you could have just been hitting your venom, hitting everybody with your venom, whereas now you are pledging silence. I heard. You're clearing your throat, your chest, your lungs, you're getting that fresh air. You're derusting your mental space, your sword of truth. You're letting go of manipulative people, of people that weigh you down in energy, be it family, friends, lovers. Because you know who you are, Scorpio, it's really not hard to decide on the matter, right? Even though you are a very loving person and you have a lot of this creative power, with the Magician having a baby, however, a bunch of these people just feed off of that energy just so you don't prosper. And listen closely when I say this. I have nothing to say. Thinking. Listen closely, Scorpio. These people do not care as much. I'm seeing like health bars, and I'm seeing it like dying almost, it's like flashing red, flashing green, whichever color. Could be, it could have had like green flags that were actually like very well masked red flags that you were picking up off of certain people, but it's like your health bar is being like, pulsating in screaming in need of help, and your heart is also screaming the same thing. It's saying, I can't take much more. I can't, I feel isolated. Even though I am an introvert, even though I am most comfortable at home, where I have most peace or most control or most, quiet, whatever it is. But these intensities and these people that are put on your path, Scorpio, are there for you to take a look at them. Let's say you need money and you take a job that has these horrible coworkers. You're still gonna need the money at the end of the day, but you're gonna need to find a way and make a plan to come in protected, come in carrying your personally written or drawn sigils or crystals, or something that is instantly blocking away, pushing away from your auric field anybody's energy. And yes, we are super sensitive. That's why we need that much more recuperation or isolation to just recalibrate with ourselves. And because we understand our intensity the most, it's also really hard to explain to people who you are, as to, it's not that you always have to be right. It's more the fact that you being unprocessed in a certain sense, like it could be, you could be beefing with men of a certain age group if you have just broken up with one. You could be beefing with your female co-workers if you have a bad relationship with your mother. And though I'm getting those types of conversations where you feel so isolated again, and it's so hard because what you do is way above them, and what you need to understand is they're also way below you for a very specific reason. And if you let them pull you down to their emotional levels and their intelligence levels, you lose your crown, you lose your heart, and you lose your footing and rooting as well. Your centers are being affected instantly. So it's because this sensitivity and intensity comes in with the tower energy, right? It's, Scorpio, it's a Scorpio card. And it's, you have these lightning bolts, that you can cast. But the more you keep them to yourself, the less these people will have anything to say, because you are not feeding them back in energy at all. And soon they will have no power over you, and you are the most powerful, aren't you, Scorpio? Last but not least, again, I said again because I did a Libra reading today as well, which is super long, but they had Two of Pentacles. So if you're resonating with, Sun or rising in Libra and the other one in Scorpio, this could be a extra confirmation that reading could be for you as well. First seeing this infinity symbol casting an 8, which is reminding me of the 8th house, right? So and the pyramids, and yeah, you have traveled through a lot of different timelines in a very short time. And because your energy has catching up to do, doesn't mean that you're anywhere behind or stuck, right? 48 on the timer. Okay, Mandy. Can you see her? No, you can't. Oh. So, Scorpio. This person has snakes around their arms as well. So whatever you do, you're being held back. You're being, my God, I thought he had snakes through his nose as well. But yeah, I never noticed. He has a halo above his head. I don't know if you can see that. He has a golden halo above his head. So you are an angel. There is no doubt about it. You are connected to the ethers. That's why you are being attacked so much. You're a very loving person. I was being guided to pull these cards with love angels. Okay, so this is for the heavy heart to help heal. This is some advice cards for the Scorpios that feel heavy, that feel either hopeless or isolated or unheard or unseen or just scapegoated in general. This is for everybody that feels like they are against the whole world. And, you know, if you feel unlovable, just know that I love you. And I swear to God, it says, I love you. These are very important words. I love you, Scorpio. If nobody else loves you, I love you. I love you so much. I love you as much as the Creator loves you. Be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. You could be connecting to pyramids or wanting to visit pyramids. You could be resonating with siren energy, mermaid Atlantis. You could be of the age of 42 or between 20 and 42. It says rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take breaks. Yeah. And there's a bunch of dolphins and she's just laying on the bottom of the ocean. And that's your energy, you know, that's where you want to be. Like maybe your heavy heart has brought you to I'm hearing a Mild Orange song. That's one of my favorite bands. Something lay down on sink into the floor, something laying down on the ocean floor tonight. I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't want to sing, but you know, you could be feeling this indie type of wave of energy where certain bluesy or jazzy or emotional or love songs could be clearing your vessel from the past timeline, and you just want to take the nap and just lay. You don't want to get up for work. Maybe your anxiety is highly heightened because of what has transpired in the near past or in the long past as well. You know, it just a lot has accumulated, and now another thing has come probably. So you just want to lay down on the ocean floor and do what you need to do, right? But there's a sense of doing things 180, not doing them the way that you used to do them, but doing them in a way where it's the exact opposite. And instead of feeding your intensities, you're feeding your passions, which are also intensities. But you know, as you focus on your craft, as you focus on your art, as you focus on your nutrition or taking care of yourself, that, you know, taking baths or cleansing these energies off of you, even if you still have to go see your toxic family, or you still have to see your toxic ex or toxic work environment, you have to return something or go sign the last contract. A lot of things will hold you back from expressing yourself for a reason, or you might catch a cold, or I don't want to be casting no spells in words like that at all. I'm sending you so much love and so much healing to not be ever affected by anybody's mean words, especially. But you could be getting these symptoms for a day where, like, your voice is kind of like mine now, and you have a good excuse to speak more gentle, or you take the cue and the note of you wanted to say something that was cynical and a truck drives by and it just blasts its horn, cutting you off completely. Like, that's God showing you there's other ways where you can put your energy to. It doesn't have to be in your venomous snake tongue. Remember, you're a Scorpio. It's in your tail, not in your tongue. So it's in a different sensing mechanism. Let's say the tailbone in a chakral system extends to the material groundedness of a Scorpio per se in energy. I'm speaking not as facts. However, the tail is an extension of the base chakra. So as these people affect your emotional state, they are affecting your financial state. Your work could be directly affected because you are letting yourself be brought down to a level that you know you're way above, and you don't even need to, spar with people. 5555 on the timer. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to show any of your loving qualities because it's work. You don't mix business with pleasure, and you don't mix pleasure with business unless you have a true ride or die, and it's 50-50 by contract. It's still business, right? But rest and relaxation is essential. So that comes down to a number 6. So you could have Virgo placements that are heavy highlighted, or Virgo house or a Virgo reading could be significant in connection to this reading. Yeah, because in the Virgo reading there was this heavy heart energy as well, and none of the others, pretty much. Not in this intensity. So maybe that's a certain inconjunction that happens within your natal chart, where you are kind of going between, wanting to be home all day and don't let the world see you, to traveling the world just so people experience your true nature. And as I said in the beginning, maybe your true nature is not able to be expressed in your immediate environment. That's why you need to go around the world, maybe where there are tropical plants, maybe to just let's say, per se, we said Egyptian, I saw a lot of pyramids. You could be, wanting to visit Egypt if you never have, and there's like different retreats that you can do along, I don't know, let's say you could go for either a spiritual retreat to awaken certain senses, to do certain, ceremonies. You could go for art conventions, or, whatever it is. It could just be that there is a certain specific place that you always wanted to go. Like, I wanted to go to Java, for instance. It's on the other side of the world. Completely different religion than to what I am used to. But I am just a volcano baby, and I've been collecting rocks since I was little, and I have so many huge maps and different maps of that place, Java and Bali, Lombok, and just Indonesia in general is such a sacred heart space of the planet Earth. And you could be resonating with either volcanoes or just this explosive fire energy, or certain temples around the world. You could be called to be healed in, to rest and relax in certain sacred spaces as well. Like, planning a vacation where it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It's just you seeing a longtime friend, or having a weekend escape where you invest a little bit in yourself. Let's say you are bad at spending money and you're like, I shouldn't invest in myself at all at this point in time. I should be saving, but you know, you could take a little few hour bus or train trip to a village or a town that you haven't just walked by yourself, and it could be a day trip, or you know, finding out when the railways or certain public transportations have free options or discounted variations of the things that they do. And you could find something that helps your soul be rejuvenated, refilled with, you know, your own essence. Because the things that you do for others that are wearing all these masks and are acting like a bunch of snakes in the most negative ways, and I have a snake and I love her to death, like, you know, you can love people for what they are and who they are, and they'll never be able to reciprocate in a loving manner, right? Because, you know, they say for snakes that they don't have so much cognitive ability to really understand much, or to be very, I don't know how they say it, loving, for the lack of a better term. But I know that, yes, she's kind of goofy and derpy, and if I open the screen, she, you know, gets scared because she's a snake, and they're probably programmed to be afraid of humans, right? Because we always hacky-sacky and chop off their heads normally, right? Because they're dangerous. But when she enjoys the sunshine or the fresh air or the fresh water I give to her in her little, huge bathing pool, you know, I just filmed her yesterday. She was enjoying, like, in her own world, and I was just laughing at her because she's hilarious. And she legit dipped all the way down the pool and was like, she was like scrunched down in the corner of her pool. It's like this big, and she was like submerged in the water in an ass, like derpy, looking at me, and then went out and came out on the other side because she has a pool and there's a log over her, so I make a little cave pool for her. I, you know, mix it up sometimes just so she has things to explore, because yeah. And she was, you know, obviously loving this. And even though, Scorpio, people around you may think that you're this, you know, stoic or bitchy person, or, you know, just, you might be Slavic as well, where you have one of those faces where you just want to, you know, kill people, but it's just the way we grew up. So it's just the process of other people's way of assuming things about you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, Scorpio. Just let them go. They're not important. You are. It's your life, and you are not living it when you give power to such stupid little people. Because yeah, last but not least, Scorpio, recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. You are limitless. You are the unicorn, Scorpio. You are the bloody fucking unicorn. And there's this cute little swan. So if you are worried about a relationship ending, especially, this message is for you. Nothing is ever lost when love is being expressed through love, through your heart, through your innate ever-giving nature, right? Nothing. And that has made your karma, and it has made your dharma in this life, because your capacity of how you take care of people is something that sticks with people for a very long time. And even if you do go your separate ways with different colleagues, acquaintances, friends, family members, partners, you name it, people, right? The most animalistic, fucking inhumane people. When you go your separate ways, you are mourning what could have been, usually, right? What you are now starting to mourn is every time you have left yourself behind, every time you have given up on yourself, and you are I just saw a Rubik's Cube being all mixed up, and Scorpio, you just like grabbed it and pulled it apart, like ripped it apart and put it back together, like factory reset. So Scorpio, you are factory resetting your whole life. My God. My God, you're limitless. Recognize this truth already, will you? Let's just take one more card. Okay, this one. You are limitless. You are highly intuitive as well. Again, well, I said again. It's like I'm connecting every reading to the previous one, but it's a whole, you know, energies fluctuate. So this might resonate in a weird way, not just for suns and risings, but you know what I mean. This Libran energy, this justice, this universal justice of things balancing themselves out. This is the energy of the pink moon, you know, the full moon in Libra we just had. If you watch this in a timely manner, that's out, you know, again. But the Seven of Pentacles came out quite prominently in the Libra reading. But this one is different. This one is somebody that stands in their garden, being the tallest tree, being the fullest moon, and having the golden apple for a heart. And that's you, Scorpio. You are ready to blossom because your roots, your trunk, all of your leaves and branches and fruits are golden. So, Scorpio, your whole exoskeleton is being reweaved with very strong and vivid, vibrant gold lattice, where you're being repaired by the cosmos. That's what I'm seeing. It's not just that this tree is climbing up this person, but you are being reset in a way where it feels like it could have taken a longer time, or that's why it may feel like you're behind in some way, because as this tree is growing from the ground up, right, so do you have to grow from the ground up. And Scorpio, if I go back a few tens of minutes where I said your base chakra is, you know, does not it ends with your whole tail, it goes on. That's how I feel. You had to go way back in your childhood, or way back into your first relationship, through every relationship or every workspace you have been in that was toxic for you, to reevaluate how you have reacted, why, blah blah blah, you know, the whole shebang. And you had to go way over the fuck to the Pluto, because your exoskeleton has a really long tail and a bunch of venom inside, right? So your base chakra was, you know, rooting through this tail that you have that has venom. However, it's a whole complex system of being a venomous exoskeleton Scorpio, right? And it only took so long because first your tail needed to be built. And it feels like a whole separate chakra system, like you have been in the underworld, and this is an understatement. So my theory is that we have below and beyond chakras as well, not just these 7. It's, you know, we can have lower and higher frequencies in different chakras. It's, you know, interconnected with a bunch of fluctuations that go on through life, where we cannot just attain ascension and be like, oh, my base chakra is now fixed just because I have a job. No, you're going to have to go against all of your fears to be truly rooted, right? You have to go through all of your ways of feeling secure, not just materially, to have a rooted chakra, right? And when it comes to that sacral chakra, we have spoken a little bit about, I'm being brought back to that in imagery. Some people need to hear this, so here goes nothing. You know, you cannot expect to be having these quote-unquote normal relationships or normal workspaces if you go in it without reading contracts or without I'm getting like sexual exchange. Some people do it, well, most people do it too soon without knowing anything about people, and we exchange a lot of energy and a lot of stress and a lot of shit from these people, and then they leave, and we feel, you know how we feel, Scorpio. We feel like we have always made poor investments. And no matter your age, you could be 20 or 42, doesn't matter, or more, 64. Doesn't matter when and where, we always feel stupid or incapable of something when things fall apart, especially relationships. Because, yes, we work through trauma, but that's how we trauma bond. And a lot of times it's like, well, what about me? But what about me? And it's this tit and tat back and forth for that what about me, or chase a runner tactics, where one is ghosting and one is isolating and the other needs attention, right? It's that intensity of, I need this to be talked about now, solved now, and you come off as a crazy person, or vice versa, you isolate to the fucking Pluto and don't talk to anybody because everybody has done their fucking part on you, and they also think you're like, yeah, just, you know, way over yonder. But it's not just that. You are processing something that most people wouldn't be able to carry for as many years as you lived. And that's not just a flex. That's a direct comparison of you to your enemies, is that they could never be a charioteer. They could never be in control of their own life, because they're in control of what other people think and speak about other people. They care about what they think about them. 11333 on a timer. And you don't have time on this planet. We don't have time to be concerned about what other people think. If you're doing your craft, do it in your own way. If you need help, ask for it. If people ask for your help, consider first. Talk to yourself. Say, I have to pee really bad. Go talk to yourself in the mirror. You know, some excuses are there to be used, because you have all the right to love yourself first and to relax and to be surrounded by people that are willing and able, I'm hearing willing and able, to spend quality time together, not a bunch of honest dishonest, sorry, bunch of dishonest people, right? So you could either have this, where you have turned your back, people have turned your back on you, you have been offering to the wrong people, or you have been offered by the wrong people. Whereas on the other side, you could have this, which is two cute little fairies kissing. And this is just like a side note, side quest. I can't imagine kissing right now because I'm just so traumatized by my last ex. He's a psychopath, in my opinion. It's just an opinion. Don't sue me. See you in spiritual court, bitch. However, like, I cannot see myself relaxing, right? Or immersing myself in that energy. But I can appreciate it. I can look at it and be like, I want that, you know? Just not right now. Just not. Give me a second, right? So you could be feeling that same timeline where you know you have shit to heal. And you probably thought in the past that you have gone through enough healing for many lifetimes. However, as long as we live, it never stops. The suffering of the prison never stops, right? So, Scorpio, don't be a prisoner of your own rusty mentality, being weighed down by rusty weights that are hooked on fucking hats that have weight hooks. Don't put on those hats, okay? Don't wear those masks. Don't wear something that you are not. If a certain person has fucked you over once is enough. Hasta la vista, bebé. You know? You could be wanting to move to Spain or a Spanish-speaking country or a Portuguese-speaking country like me. But yeah, it's just the transitions in life are always there to remind you of what do you truly want. You know, it's not what you wanted with that person or with that job or whatever you wanted to achieve. And I just saw 1 hour and 17:17. It's not just what you want to achieve with those people. It's what you truly, from the heart, wish for yourself and others. So be very mindful, Scorpio. You are a powerful manifester. You are able to manifest towers into people's lives. So for those that may not understand the terminology, that means you come into a place and you shock people. You change the way or the things that they talk about. It's like you bring the change. You are the lightning bolt that strikes the tower to collapse. If it has faulty foundations. Tower isn't always bad in tarot. It's the ego part. It's the, self-mask. But all of us have that particle. It can be toxic ego and it can be healed or aware ego, for the lack of a better term. And you, Scorpio, you are entering the era where you're not a hurt child anymore. You are not willing to prolong your anger when it comes to your previous employers or co-workers or relationships or, Yamada. So, however life fucked you over, Scorpio, this is going to be their last laugh. I'm here. And it's not even petty energy. It's very empowering, because something will shift. If it hasn't yet, something will shift inside of you in a very short amount of time. It's like 48 to 72 hours, 2 to 3 days. You will be feeling a whole different type of anger. It's like I'm seeing a bunch of DC and Marvel heroes, and I'm seeing a bunch of I'm seeing you starring your own movie now. So you were just busting down the door. It's like glass everywhere, like the whole front of the shop is glass windows, and the door is also glass, double doors, and you just barge in, and you're just like, you know, the air goes through the room and it just like blows on your fabulous hair and exposes your beauty, and you know, all these bitches are just like, it's like Medusa came, you know. It's like you have taken all these snake's tongues and twisted them together, like on that, what was it, Hierophant card, and you're just like, pa-choo, pa-choo, pa-choo. Like that Five of Wands card. You cast all of your rockets, right? Without saying a word. You just came. You saw, you conquered. Yeah, Libra reading as well. Yeah, could be something there for you. Even if you don't have Libra shit, you could be going through a bad relationship, breakup or something like that. And that's why it might resonate, because it's the 7th house energy, which is relationships. So that was a lot of energy to transmute, Scorpio. These people will need like spiritual ambulances and spiritual firefighters, because boy, girl, Scorpio boy, man, woman. I saw 2121 on the timer as well. So yeah, this cycle has ended, and for a very good reason. What's on the other side is a mystery to you. But you empowering yourself with courage instead of fear on a daily basis, like it's a new diet plan or a new workout routine, is what is going to bring you over the board of being able to keep to yourself that mystery of who you are and say what you have to say without saying a word. And that'll just I saw like flamethrower and just like bowling pins just falling. It's like, I don't know why flamethrower and bowling pins in like a nail salon. What the fuck is this, guys? Put it in the comments if you resonated, or how you resonated with this message, if you did, or if it's just like a similar storyline. I would really like to hear how this went down and how it's going to turn out. So Scorpio, if you enjoyed this long ass reading, please give it a like so I can pick up on your higher timelines, so I can connect to the collective better, so you can connect with me better and my protection capabilities, because if your heart is on the right place, so is mine. And we have a deal. We have a mutual prayer established, and you are always protected when you're under my servitude to you. So thank you, Scorpio, so much for clicking on this video and making it this far. If you did, put a little rain cloud and a little sunshine and rainbow sequence, just so I know that you have made it to the other side of this energy. And I just know, like, I don't want to spoil stuff, but what's coming towards you is love that's greater than yours. You haven't felt this type of love ever. You thought, but you were loved on like 20 or 30%. Now somebody's coming in. You need to release a lot of anger and transmute a lot of emotion until then, and relieve your heart of all this heaviness in your own processes. However, on the other side of that transmutation process is a love like no other. I don't have the card out yet, but it's those two fairies kissing on a little flower boat, and it's like just giving this romantic Venice vibe where, a bunch of us living close to Venice it's not as romantic. It's just a bunch of pigeons and tourists and expensive beer if you sit down, so you have to stand up for a small Heineken and so on. But it's as if Venice had a beautiful day and there was not much pollution in the ocean and the water's clear, and I don't know, some flowers are falling down into the water with the wind as you and your loved one are like canoodling in that little boat, and this Venetian guy is rowing the boat against the canals, and you're just observing the architecture and just, PDAing as much as possible, or just, feeling cozy and safe and protected. Like, nobody's trying to pluck your wings and tear your heart apart. And that usually starts with yourself, Scorpio. It always starts with us. So that's where we'll begin. If we don't know where to start, I gave you some clues and some cues where you could begin if you haven't already. If you did, congratulations. You're getting so many blessings into your life just by listening this far along the message and being receptive to hearing other timelines as well of, a collective of Scorpio energy that has the same approach per se, or a same intuitive calling to, go through certain things so we can teach later on, or show how we have gone through certain things, or connect in a certain way. So I'll stop blabbering now. I'm exhausted. You probably as well, or you probably listened to this reading in sections because it was a long time. But there's this sense, just one more thing, Scorpio. There's just this sense that you have a lot to speak on and about to people that don't want to speak to you, or cannot reciprocate or encourage in any way, or at least not in a way that would have been effective. But you're going towards the energy of reciprocal love and reciprocal family that you create by your own choosing, not by choosing from your old wounding and by trauma bonding, but by being truly connected to yourself and understanding that not a lot of people are on your level as well, and that we all have different qualities that can help each other out in when it comes to getting to the other side of feeling like we are on Pluto, yet we are just in that masculinity of, preserving self by fighting back. In this next season, you are being open and receptive to stand back in your fight, or open up to healthier ways of processing this, because it's about doing things the 180 way, right? It's about doing it completely differently than you did it up until this point, or this last job, or this last relationship, whatever the situation was. That was the last time it happened that way, if you choose. I just saw like it's 3%. It's your choice, right? I'm not here to be smart about it. But heavy hearts are the hardest to transmute in energy, because it's the most important and the middle center of all. It's the heart, right? Well, stay in your heart spaces, or safe travels back to your heart spaces if you have been taken away from them. I wish you great healing to come your way, and for this space to be mended with gold, not with gilded false promises of other people, even if it comes from yourself, thinking maybe they'll change, maybe they didn't think it in that way. No, no. Actions show. Because if we were all dogs, we wouldn't have language to speak to, you know. So don't use all these spells to take from yourself. At the end of the day, you're just taking from your own heart. That's why it's heavy. Because we all want, well, we all want the same thing, which is usually that inner peace, being content, you know, being loving and being loved, and being the beloved, being in unity of oneself. Especially if you feel like you're a trinity of people or a multitude of personalities, it's about differentiating people and voices that are negative. And it's okay, because we all felt crazy, we all felt stupid, we all felt like nutcases, literally needing dire help because of feeling like, you know, either unaliving or just very mentally desperate, or resorting to either medications or stuff like that. But no person on the whole planet has the right to make you feel so low that you need a third person's help. Then I guess that person truly didn't love you, because even if they drove you to that psychologist appointment, or they've made a certain decision that was good for you, if it didn't resonate in your heart, your loving heart, then it didn't come from love. It came from control or another negative emotion. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Take it as you will, or take it as it resonates. Of course, thank you for being with me here in my little corner of the internet, and my little corner of the room. And I pray for you, you pray for me. I manifest my house on Azores, and you know, we can send each other postcards from Spain to Portugal or wherever you're gonna live. I love you so much, Scorpio.